when you are going to leave your partner, when you ultimately decide, hey, it's time to go, do not do it alone. Do not do it in a private setting.
Hey beautiful people, how you are doing today? It's your girl Destiny here and welcome to my channel. How you are doing? Hope you guys are doing fantastic. So this video, it is a very interesting video and I need, if you're a woman, come. So this video is a video of a lawyer, an attorney who came online to tell women how to move in relationship, especially in a DV situation, how to break up such relationship. So this man went on to talk about how if you know you are in a situationship or you think even in 1% in your guts that your husband, and he's talking about cis men and cis women, okay, that if you know your husband, your boyfriend, he has any form of violent aggression, don't break up with him in private, do it in public. And he was talking about how systematically this has been a thing. They call it a crime of passion. And also there is this defense around crime of passion. And he was telling women that it's better you say as the dumb person for breaking up through the phone or in public places or through text. It's better to do that and still be alive than to do that, than to break up in private and you're being unalive. And when you talk about how a lot of women, they ignore the signs and they do it and now they are a case study. And if you watch crime stories and all that, you see like this is the thing, the crime of passion. That's one thing. You see things like this happen. Even a couple, and maybe I should post that story. A couple of days ago, there was a story of a man who his wife, because he feels his wife was talking to her ex-boyfriend and he unalive her just like that. So this is even in Nigeria. So not just in one part of the world this type of things happen, it happens a lot. So women, just be careful, put yourself, be safe out there. So let's go check out what this lawyer has to say and his defense and why we think we should do this, and then we'll come back and talk more.
Ladies, this is the number one way to not be by your boyfriend or your husband. I'm a criminal defense attorney, and there is this phenomenon in criminal law where I use very gendered terms in this video, so please excuse that. But this is specifically focused on cis men, boyfriends, and significant others. I can talk about sort of queer aggression and defenses for gay panic defenses in a different video. When you are going to leave your partner, when you ultimately decide, hey, it's time to go, do not do it in person. Do not do it alone. Do not do it in a private setting. There is decades of case law, case after case after case, where the woman decides to leave the man, and that moment that the man realizes she is actually leaving, this is not a threat, this is not, just sort of a fight, that she is actually going to go, that is the moment that, I don't know how to say it on TikTok, but that is the moment when the occurs. So there's just sort of decades of precedent where this situation has happened. There's actually an entire section of case law in my criminal law textbooks in law school going over cases. They're called the heat of passion crimes. You might be thinking like, oh, but he's different, or not him, or but I love him, or we've been married for X number of years. I guarantee you, every woman who is now the subject of case law in a criminal law textbook thought the same exact thing. So please, I know I make goofy, stupid videos on TikTok, but this is probably like, please take this advice. I know breaking up with someone over the phone sucks. I've been the recipient of it. I know that breaking up with someone over text sucks. I know that maybe doing it at a restaurant or in a public place, but if there's any sort of history of aggression or violence in this person's background, or you just sort of have that sinking feeling where you're like, maybe there's like a 1% chance of like an extreme reaction, please just do it. I'd rather you be a jerk who broke up with someone over the phone who is still alive than someone who is the next person in a legal textbook. That sounds really dramatic. That sounds really extreme. but it's your life and you only get one of them. So I want y'all drinking cold brew with an ugly fat dog next to you for a very long time. Oh, and P.S. by the way, those heat of passion crimes that I talked about, definitely look them up because there's a whole sort of like constellation of like ways in which attorneys utilize them, but they're really effective on juries and they have been used for a long time. They've got a real ugly history going all the way back to like race-fueled crimes. And so they've been used for a really long time to get people off on at their trials, and also to continue to be used today.
So this video has gotten a lot of people talking. A lot of people have so much to say about as a woman, as a cis woman, breaking up with your partner, how you should do it publicly in an open space, not just private, because you need to look out for yourself. I have so much to say about this conversation, but I want to know what you think down in the comment section. So go ahead and share your thoughts. But before we go check out what people think about this, if you haven't subscribed to the channel, what are you waiting for? Please go ahead and subscribe to the channel and click the notification bell so you'll be notified once I upload videos. I post video every single day, at least 2 videos every day, and you don't want to miss out on the conversation because we have amazing conversation here on this channel. Okay, so this thing, like, I really did just give me that. It just remind me of the bear and the man situation, how women have to be really careful how they move, especially when it comes to the men's side of things and how they interact and relate things with them. But anyway, guys, let's go check out what people have to say about this and then we'll come back and talk more. But I want to know what you think, so go down and drop your own thoughts in the comment section.
Ladies, this is the number one way to not be by your boyfriend or your husband. I'm a criminal defense.
He goes on to talk about crimes of passion and how they get excused very often. And that you shouldn't tell people in person when you're leaving them because of this. And this is why people choose the bear.
Ladies, this is the number one way to not be unalived by your boyfriend or your husband. I'm a criminal defense.
Unfortunately, that man is not lying. We all choose the bear because we know when it's time to go, that could be your life. He's not lying.
He is actually going to go. That is the moment.
Okay, don't look at my face because I did the like prid patch thingy last night. But this video, very important information, go watch it. It's about leaving a bad domestic situation, and about how when cis men realize she's actually leaving, this is not a joke, that is usually when they them. And there's like a whole like group of case law studies about crimes of passion. And I was thinking to myself, okay, when was the last time I heard a woman talking about being in that heat of the moment and like in that clutches of a crime of passion? Like, you never hear about that. And I realized it was Risa Tisa. And it wasn't because that man was leaving her. It was because he wouldn't leave her house. And that's just very interesting. Interesting to me.
Ladies, this is the number one way to not be unalived by your boyfriend or your husband. I'm a criminal defense.
So in undergrad, I did my field practicum, which is basically your internship in a domestic setting. And I've still kind of worked with domestic violence, not so much on a daily basis, but this is absolutely true when it comes to intimate partner violence or any kind of obsessive relationship. The most dangerous time for a person is when they are leaving. I am never going to forget this literally happening on Christmas. Without giving too much information, I went to a murder-suicide. The lady was going to leave, and guess what? He killed her and he killed himself. So yeah, I mean, I don't know what else to say. Like, you have to be sneaky when it comes to this. You have to do a whole safety plan. Look up safety plan. If you're in this kind of relationship, look up a safety plan. Start mailing your stuff slowly. Do not give them any indication that you are leaving. You got to pretend. Like, that's all I have to say about that. And I mean, there's a lot of resource out there, especially if you are in some kind of intimate partner relationship. You're not alone. You're going to be able to get through this. It is hard, but the most important thing is for you to be safe and to not become unalive. So yeah.
Ladies, this is the number one way to not be unalived by your boyfriend or your husband. I'm a criminal defense.
Listen to that, creator. Here's why. I've been hearing a lot of women on TikTok, even some recently, who were crying on here that their boyfriends broke up with them via text. And then brands send them lots of things, blah, blah, blah. Women, If a man breaks up with you via text, accept it. Don't be a big baby and cry about it. Accept it. Listen to this guy, go follow his page, listen to this video. As a survivor of heinous crime from men onto me, a woman, this type of scenario will keep you safe. What they say is rejection is protection. Stop crying over the breakup text. Be a big girl. Suck it up, buttercup. Accept it. And if you're not feeling it from that guy, send him a breakup text. Send him a breakup video. I'm great at that. Let me know.
Ladies, this is the #1 way to not be unalived by your boyfriend.
If I had not followed this advice, I am telling you all, I would not be here today. And there are many witnesses that would back me up on that statement. Okay, I'm gonna get really real on here for a minute and really vulnerable. Unfortunately, I couldn't stitch the original creator. I want to share a little bit of my story for anybody who needs to hear it because A, you are not alone. B, you can do it. C, if you see this and you need support and you feel alone, reach out to me. Seriously, I was living in the Pacific Northwest. I am from New England, so already, I'm kind of away from my friends and family. I was really vulnerable. I got into a very textbook, very dangerously abusive relationship. I tried many times over the years to leave this man. He just kept pulling me back in with threats, threatening my life, threatening his life. This man was physical with me. I don't want to get into the details because it's just too much. But I wholeheartedly believe that I would not be here if I had not followed the advice from the original video. So I had to ghost the man I had lived with for 4 years and secretly relocate back home to New England without him knowing, which was really hard to pull off, but I was able to do it, and I want to kind of give some advice on how. So first things first, I kind of made a mental list of everything that I knew that was a non-negotiable for me to have with me back home in New England. And then I very, very slowly mailed those things home in small amounts. So this man did not realize they were missing from the house. Because obviously he's going to be why are you mailing your birth certificate home? Why are you mailing your childhood photo albums home? Why are you mailing these sentimental things home? That would be obvious. The second thing is I sold my car after I left. So I arranged for the buyer to pick it up the day after I got on the plane so that my ex couldn't sabotage the car. If he knew I was selling it and going on a trip, a quick trip home, he would have slashed the tires 100% or done something to sabotage me 100%. Sorry, I'm kind of ranting at this point. It's obviously hard to talk about, but yeah, I'll tag the original creator so you can watch the whole thing. But yeah, essentially, don't leave a man, don't tell a man you're leaving him in person. Just don't. I also quickly want to add, even men who aren't in the relationship, you never know. They could flip a switch real quick when you try to leave them. I have witnessed that happen firsthand. Just don't even take any risks, to be honest.
Ladies, this is the #1 way to not be unalived by your boyfriend or your husband.
This is one of the biggest lessons that I have had to learn as a woman dating in my adulthood. He goes on to say that when you get to the point where you are about to end the relationship, do it over the phone. And if you have to do it in person, do it in public. Do not do it in private. And after my last dating experience, I will never again end things with a man in person, in private. It is culturally instilled in us from a young age that the right thing to do is to end a relationship face to face. But honestly, that is just not worth risking your life, especially if there is any doubt in your mind that this man has any sort of violent tendencies or is not all the way. In my last relationship, when things were starting to fall apart and we were starting to have conversations around potentially no longer continuing the relationship, I started to realize that he was not reacting to these conversations in the way that typical adults respond. It was obvious to me that he was not all the way happy either, but whenever we would get to the point in an argument where it was yeah, I'm actually going to end the relationship, things would escalate to a level that I just could not comprehend. And while it was obvious that this relationship was not going to end in a non-dramatic fashion, it never occurred to me that that could actually be very dangerous for me. The night that I had finally had enough and decided to end it, we had gotten into a fight at dinner. I waited until we got home from dinner to end the relationship. I didn't want to cause a scene in public, and I felt well, this is a private conversation. It should take place in a private setting. So as we were having this breakup fight and I tell him that I am done, I can see that it's not registering in his brain that I'm actually being serious until I start packing up my belongings. So I grab all my belongings, I put them in a bag, I put on my backpack, and I go to walk out. And at this point, I can see it click in his eyes that he realizes I am serious and that this relationship is over. The moment this happens, he races to the door, stands in the door frame, and blocks me from leaving the apartment. At the time, I had never experienced anything like this, and I did not realize how serious this was. I thought he was just being dramatic. But as he is refusing to let me leave, my adrenaline is starting to rush and I'm getting increasingly panicked. I finally get past him and I think, oh, thank God, I'm out the door, I'm fine, I'm safe. And right when I think that, I get snatched up like this. I had a backpack on and he grabs the handle of the backpack and me back. So safety tip for women, whenever you're wearing a backpack, never wear both straps of the backpack. From that day forward, I always only carry a backpack with one strap. In the event that another man ever tries to grab me, I can drop the backpack off my shoulder and run. So at this point, I am panicking. We are standing in the hallway. He is holding my backpack. The straps are pressed up against my shoulders. I cannot get away. I cannot move. My only thought is start screaming. So I start yelling in the hopes that causing enough commotion will get him to drop the backpack and leave me alone. And it does. But there is another door at the end of the hallway, which he then runs to and blocks as well. At this point, I'm realizing there's 2 more doors. There's a staircase and there's a parking garage I have to get to and out of in order to get out of here. And I realize it is in my best interest to now de-escalate the situation because I am scared for my safety. And I know that even if I get out of here tonight, like this breakup is not going to end tonight. This is going to continue and this is going to be something that's drawn on and very dramatic that I just don't want to deal with. So I choose to de-escalate the situation, tell him never mind, and I will stay and go back into the apartment with him. So at this point, I just tell him, look, I am past my limit with you. I will give you a pass tonight, but if this happens again, the thing that happened to cause the initial fight, I'm done, I'm gone. So he is acting amazing for the next couple days. If you guys have ever dealt with a master manipulator, I now understand how y'all end up in these relationships. Because for the life of me, prior to him, I could not understand how people got into situations like this. So I stay in the relationship for 4 more days because, again, I didn't understand at the time how serious that behavior was. A large part of me still just thought, oh, he's being dramatic. But sure enough, the original offense that caused that big fight in the first place happens again. But this time, I was like, okay, I'm going to be smart about how I go about this breakup. Instead of being impassioned and acting on my impulses in the moment, I waited for him to leave and go to work. While he was at work, I packed up all of my things, moved my car out of his garage, and moved it onto the street. I knew if I broke up with him over the phone, he was going to show up at my apartment, and that was something that I wanted to avoid. So I felt like it was better to do it in person, in public. I parked my car on a very crowded street, both with pedestrian foot traffic and car traffic. I knew it was going to be rush hour when he got home, so I knew there would be a ton of cars sitting on the road next to us, and I parked right in front of his building security that I knew could watch the whole interaction go down. Sure enough, he gets home from work, parks behind my car on the busy street, but this is where I went wrong because he was taking too long to get out of his car. I got impatient, got out of mine, and got into his. Y'all, don't do that. But I did leave the passenger door open. So I confront him in the car about his behavior, and I let him know I'm done for real, like this relationship is over. I then go to get out of the car, and at this point, he reaches out and grabs my arm. I am telling him to let go of my arm, and it is becoming apparent to me that he is not going to let go of my arm, and he has no plans of letting me out of this car. I'm wearing a jacket, so my first thought is, okay, take off the jacket because then maybe he'll lose the grip on my arm and he'll just be holding the jacket. So as I'm trying to take off my jacket, he realizes what I'm doing. He lets go of my arm. I sprint out of his car, jump into the driver's side seat of my car, but he jumps out of the car as well and he follows me. When I get into my car, he steps in between the door frame and the door so that I can't close it and is holding the door open with both arms wide. At this point, I am still talking calm to him. I'm talking to him exactly like I am talking to you guys now, but my adrenaline is starting to spike. As he is pleading for me not to leave, it is becoming apparent to me that he has no plans of moving. Again, y'all, this is rush hour on a busy street. There are people walking by. There are cars not only driving by, but stopped next to us watching what is going on. I tell him, you need to step away from my car or I am going to run you over. He says, over, I'm not moving. So I say, okay, and I step on the gas. I'm thinking, like any logical person, he is going to back away from the car when he realizes that I am serious. But no, he is not a logical person. He jumps into the car onto my lap. He grabs the steering wheel with one hand, holds the door open with the other hand, and is kicking my foot out of the way so he can get to the brake. Now I start screaming. I am scared. I am panicking. I do not know what to do to get this grown man off of my lap so that I can get away and go home. Mind you, I deliberately picked this spot because I know that he hates causing scenes in public. And not only was this in public, but it was in front of people that he knows, his building security. But as I'm getting increasingly panicked, I feel like it's in my best interest to cause a scene, so I start screaming. Everyone is staring. People are yelling out their cars. Oh my God, are you okay? He yells back, she's fine. I'm her boyfriend. She's breaking up with me. At this point, this girl who is driving by rolls down her window and starts recording. I tell him, hey, we're being recorded. I really don't want to be on the internet. Please get off of me so I can go home. His response is to scream at her, record us all you want. She threatens to call the cops. I then tell him, if you don't get off my lap, I am also going to call the cops. Cars are flying by. My car door is wide open. I'm thinking like they're going to hit my car door. My car is going to break. I am like jerking my car back and forth, just trying to figure out how to get him off of my lap and make him lose his balance so he will get out of my car. I tell him I'm going to call the cops. He tells me to call the cops. So I call the cops. I call 911. I'm on the phone with the 911 operator. I give her his full name, his description. And the whole time I'm on the phone with 911, me and him are screaming at each other back and forth, and he still will not get out of the car. The operator tells him if he does not get out of the car, she is going to send the police. At this exact moment, a woman on the street sees us and comes over and intervenes. I don't know who this woman was or where she came from, but God himself sent her down because she was twice his size and looked like she lived in the gym, okay? She came up to my car and was like, do we have a problem here? At this point, he gets off of my lap, steps away from me, still is holding the door open. But as this woman is approaching and yelling at him, and as the 911 operator is telling him that she's about to send the police, he steps away just far enough from the car. The woman from the street turns to me and she just says, go. So I slam my door, I hit the gas, and all the cars stop driving to let me out, and I zoom on the freeway and I zoom to my apartment. He then calls me 39 times. I pack up all my belongings and I go stay at home with my parents for a week. I had to order extra security cameras to put around my apartment and extra locks to put on my doors. After this, I had to block his number from all of my phones, all of my social media platforms, including email and LinkedIn, and his work number that he was using the company phone to call me from. I also caught him showing up to events that he knew I was going to be at. And all I can think is, thank God I decided to do this in public. That was so traumatizing, and all I could think was, if this is how he acted in public, I don't even want to imagine what he would have acted like if I would have went through with it in private. And mind you, from the day I met this man to the day I blocked him was no more than 4 months. So if you have been deeply involved with someone, especially if it's been for a long period of time, and there is any doubt in your mind that they are capable of tendencies, end it over the phone. End it over the phone. And if you have to end it in person because you feel like you need that, not just because you're trying to be a good person, because being a good person is not worth it, make sure you are in a public, well-lit area that you can easily escape from, because it is simply not worth the risk.
Ladies, please protect yourself. Please protect yourself. Please go down in the comment section, share your thoughts, share your story if you have, but please keep it respectful. As always, you're on this channel, we're allowed to disagree, but we'll do it in a respectful way. So go ahead, feel free and share your thoughts. Okay, so go on. I'd love to know what you think about the story time and this advice this man is giving. I agree 150% with what the man said, and I'm of the opinion to, like, if you have to say something, say it to the person's face and get it done with. But we've seen how a lot of men move these days. Like, you just have to be careful. I even feel like it does not have to be a man that has, or a DV situation or a DV relationship. I just feel like generally as women, we should just like don't even do it in person anymore. Like, don't, because I feel like there can be triggers that can just trigger that person, especially long term, that can just trigger. Well, when you know the person still wants the relationship, the person is not going to let go of that relationship, or the relationship, the person will, for whatever reason, even though the relationship is dead and gone, the person does not want to let it go. I'll say still do it in public, don't do it in private, because I feel like it could snap. We've heard different crime stories, different stories of women just ending relationship, and that was it. And even after, which is another thing, even after you break up with this person, protect your surrounding, like the sister did. Protect yourself, protect your surrounding, because these people, we've seen cases where a woman breaks up with a man, and when she decided dating again, this man goes and she and the new boyfriend or whatever. So protect yourself, lady. Always be very aware of your environment. And this is why I always say, center yourself. I know when you're in a bad situation, you're in a bad situation, or when you're in a relationship and now you're doing the work, you're healing yourself, and you find that that relationship is not good for you, you can't just pick up and go. I get it, I understand that part. But this is where I'll say center yourself so that you don't attract this type of people around. And this is one of the reason if people who say, oh, why will a woman pick a bear over a man? Because most men can do something harm to you if you don't want anymore. And I feel like this is also a bruise on their ego, like why are you the one that ended the relationship and all that. For me, the man does not have to be violent. If you feel like he's not going to take the breakup, the divorce lightly, be smart about it. And I want to say thank you to these ladies that dropped some really nice gems. She talking about how to send some of your stuff away, how to quite just this, like just look out for yourself, protect yourself. You guys know that's what we stand with you on this channel. Always look out for yourself. And this is an amazing advice for every woman. It's not even just in, like I said, not just in every woman should take it. Turn to the break. I feel like breakup should not be done in private right now because with the type of men and how seeing how women are moving and how women are self-sufficient, how women are decentering men, most men would not like it. Especially when the relationship still benefits them. So anyway, guys, please go down in the comment section and share your thoughts. Love to know what you think about this amazing conversation down in the comment section. But please keep it respectful. As always, here on this channel, we're allowed to disagree, but we do it in a respectful way. So go ahead, feel free, and share your opinion. Don't forget to give this video a thumbs up, smash the like button because this helps YouTube to push out my content for more people to see, and that will be you supporting this channel and this girl here. So go ahead and do that. Subscribe if you haven't subscribed, and I'll see you guys in my next video. Deuces.